All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. If some stragglers come in, we will interact with them as we go. Now, I do need to let you know that tonight I am running solo on this. I don't have any staff on to answer questions. So I'm going to go through the entire presentation, and then there is going to be a Q&A at the end. I would typically like to answer questions as we go, but without staff here to help, I won't be typing responses. Now, that doesn't mean if I see a question that means or that is related to whatever I'm showing and I think that it's important, I'll ask it verbally, but I'm not going to be typing anything in for y'all tonight. I am going to be recording this, or at least I'm going to try. I've got Camtasia running. I have got GoToWebinar recording. And if the grace of God shines its light down upon me, one of those will actually work. Fingers crossed. So anytime you do a presentation, you always have to give a little bit of backstory to about who you are for those that might not know you. So real quick, I was in the Marines from 96 to 2001. I was active duty, a microcomputer engineer, got a degree in electrical engineering. Then I got out and I went to school full time while working full time, which was a lot of fun. Got a bachelor's degree in business administration, another one in industrial management. Then I really started to get my marketing feet wet. I started working at an auto auction and started doing marketing for car donations for nonprofits. That was really where all of my marketing experience started. I had an opportunity to work on a project and ended up becoming the lead on it. And it was my real first major marketing success. I used to say that that was my first real marketing project, but I'd had tons of them. This was just the first one that hit it big time. We created the world's #1 online public auto auction system, and I worked with them for about 7 years. Now, my first business in the marketing niche was National Charity Services. Started it in 2006, made Inc. magazine's fastest growing companies 2010, 2011. While I was doing that, I started an online marketplace called Thrift It in 2008, and that did $1 million in under a year. And then in 2012, I sold out. I'd really just become a little burnt out with everything, had partners, had deals all over the place, and just wanted to regroup. So I spent the last 18 months writing books and coaching. For a lot of you that are on this webinar and I can recognize the names, you know that I stopped coaching a few months ago, and I've really gone back into building a marketing company. It's my passion. It's what I'm good at. It's what my success has been. And tonight, I am going to share with you some interesting information. So here's a couple of my friends. We've got Brett Michaels, Eric Trump. There's a picture of me on the Trump helicopter. All of this is through marketing. And one of my idols, Jay Abraham. I like to throw this up here because people don't understand where marketing can really take them. If you give it an opportunity, the marketing industry is absolutely a life-changing industry. I was just talking to some friends last night and talking about going go-kart racing in St. Martin's and then doing a go-kart racing tournament in San Diego and then talking about going to the wineries in Boise. And then like, well, how do you travel all those places? Well, the reality is that I'm traveling because of my marketing. I'm doing masterminds, I'm meeting clients, I'm going out and I'm enjoying life. And that's what I want to show you how to do tonight. The topics that we're going to cover in this presentation are my 10 steps to creating a 6-figure marketing company. Now, National Charity Services, I was fortunate enough that my hard work led me to building a 7-figure marketing company, and these same rules still apply as you grow your business. But I'm absolutely convinced you cannot grow a 7-figure business without first growing a 6-figure business. So that's where we're going to start. And these are pretty straightforward. We're going to start by talking about mindset, then how to determine a niche, how to create your services package, how to build or buy a list. How is communication important to the success of a marketing company? How does sales work? How do you do your marketing? What is connecting? Some people might call it networking, but I prefer to call it connecting. How do you build a team? And how do you grow a marketing firm? Now, my presentation format, each section for the most part is going to follow this. A couple of them deviate a little bit just because there was different information I wanted to get out there, or sometimes I really didn't think that I needed to tell you why you needed to be doing certain things. So I'd like to start each one with an introduction of each section to give you a real world application of each topic. The what is where we define the topic. What is it that we're actually talking about? The why is where we explain why it is important to the overall business model. and the how. This is how you go about implementing it in your business, because without implementation, nothing else matters. Now, why am I doing this? I found that there's a glass ceiling in the marketing world. I see it time and time again, and all stems from a lack of a plan. I've met more marketers than I can count who have reached a level of $10,000 to $25,000 a month in gross sales, or about 25 active clients, and then implode or stop growing. This is the system to get to that point and past it. Also, my buddy Kyle, a Facebook ninja, called me out on the fact that I hadn't launched anything in a few months. This was at a friend's house in San Diego a few weeks ago. And damn tequila, I laid down, I took his challenge, and so we're here tonight. So let's actually get started. The introduction's done. Let's jump right in and let's learn how to build a six-figure marketing business. So step one is mindset. Now, I'm a left brain type of guy. To me, mindset is kind of that right brain world where you have to believe and all that kind of stuff. And I used to dismiss that until I started coaching. And I learned from my students that even I had mindset issues that I needed to look at every once in a while. So whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Thoughts are things, and powerful things at that. When mixed with the definiteness of purpose and burning desire, can be translated into riches. And that's Napoleon Hill. I mean, this is one of the all-time great business writers, business leaders. This is really something to think about. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. A mindset is a set of assumptions, methods, or notions held by one or more people or groups of people that are so established that it creates a powerful incentive within these people or groups to continue to adapt or accept prior behaviors, choices, or tools. This is really the only philosophical element to our system. The reality is, though, if you don't have the right mindset, you'll need to fix that before you can build a successful company. Now, one of the things that I like to do with my webinars is they are pretty text heavy. The reason for that is I'd like the slides to be able to stand on their own, so that when we upload this video, if you want to download a copy of these slides, you can. Now, it's going to be a couple days, but we're going to eventually get to doing that. What the mind believes, the mind achieves. This is the why. Sounds like a bunch of BS, but it is the dead-on truth. If you don't think you can do something, well, then you're usually right. To build a six-figure marketing firm, you're going to need to believe that you can do it before you even start. My best remedy for mindset issues is to set small goals that over time can build the confidence you need to achieve greatness. Then if that doesn't work, I tell people to stop being little bitches so that we can get on with the process of making money. I don't know if that was politically correct, but I've told more people than I can count that. And you know what? It usually gets a positive response. So we're going to jump off the mindset and we're going to start jumping into the tactical and strategic implementation of building a six-figure marketing firm. So step number 2 in this process is building a niche. The easiest way to serve no one is to try and serve everyone. That's my quote. I've got a couple quotes dropped in here, Napoleon Hill, Henry Ford, a lot of people that I idolize. But really, when it came time to put a quote on this page, I've always said this and I wanted to put it out there. A niche market is the subset of a market on which a specific product is focusing. The market niche defines specific product features aimed at satisfying specific market needs, as well as the price range, production quality, and demographics that it's intended to impact. Success in marketing is almost completely dependent on picking and sticking to a single niche. With over 6 billion people in the world, trying to serve everyone is just impossible. Picking the right niche allows you to become the expert in that niche. It allows you to protect your services in that niche, and it allows you to dominate that niche. Sticking with a niche is vital. Show me someone that is truly committed to a niche for 2 or more years, and I will show you a successful person. So in marketing, there are 2 types of top-level niches. The first one is geo-targeted. This is where you pick a certain geographical area to serve and concentrate on being the #1 service provider in that market. Or you can go industry specific. This is where you choose to serve a specific industry, such as nonprofits, dentists, jewelers, or something similar. You really should not proceed past this step until you've chosen a niche. Now, before you start to think that this presentation is going to be a bunch of slides on regurgitated crap, what I've done is I've laid over each of these steps exactly how we've implemented this in our business. These are the exact steps that I use to build a $3.5 million marketing company. These are the exact steps that I'm implementing again to build our new company. I personally spent 6 years serving the nonprofit niche. In sticking with that niche, I became one of the top fundraisers in the US and one of the top SEO professionals in the US. Today at Infusion, we are concentrating on serving the Cleveland, Akron, Canton, Ohio markets. We have a great portfolio of national and international clients that have been with us for years, but have decided it was time to go local. A little bit of practice what you preach. Can I get an amen? I'm actually watching the Q&A to see if I can get a couple amens. There we go. Here they come. And a hallelujah. And actually, that was an opportunity for me to drink more caffeine. Again, 4 hours of sleep. All right, step number 3 is services. Most marketers that never get their business out of the gate suffer from trying to design their services around what the last person asked them to do. They see the only way to get business is custom tailoring their business to the whims of whoever will pay them. Oddly enough, when I sold my marketing firm last year and I was working with my coach, Mike, I found myself probably in the July, August timeframe of 2012 doing exactly that. I really didn't know what I was going to do next. I had these amazing skills. I had an awesome brand. I had tons of people coming to me, and I just tried to do whatever they wanted me to do. The problem was that never works. You need to define your services, stick to those services so that you can perfect those services. Marketing services are defined as the package of deliverables you are going to offer for sale. Here are some common ones: search engine optimization, pay-per-click, social media management, reputation management, maps marketing, content marketing, PR, development, mobile, programming, video, Facebook advertising. I even use some acronyms that I can't remember, and there's 100 more of those. You must define your service packages before you go out and try to sell. You need to do this so that you can develop a cohesive marketing message, develop a simple pricing strategy, and avoid confusing clients with too many options. I've been there, I've done that. Now, the services how, the best way to show you the how in services is just to show you our service packages and then explain how we develop them. Well, we offer one package, which is our marketing assurance program. It has one price point of $1,297 per month for local client. It includes all the marketing elements needed to drive ROI for each and every one of our clients. Now, let me give you more information on that. Our service package can include some or all of the following: search engine optimization, pay-per-click, social media, reputation, maps marketing, video marketing, podcast, radio broadcasting, direct mail. I can keep naming them. But some clients only get one. Others get them all. What we found is clients are less concerned about what is being done and more with what they are getting when it comes to ROI. Each client is different, but what they all want is the same. They want paying customers. So let me talk about this for a second. We have some clients where we know that the value of a phone call to them or the value of a lead is $100 and that it takes 2 phone calls for them typically to close a client. So they pay us $1,297. That's $1,300. In order to break even, they need to get 13 clients. So we know we have to get them 26 phone calls a month. It's really simple math. When you know the value of a lead to your potential client or your current client, all you need to do is go out and generate that number of leads to break even. And then, of course, deliver more. If they break even every month, they might stick around. But if you're delivering double what they're asking for, they're never going to be able to leave you. Stop worrying about trying to sell them on search engine optimization. Oh, we're going to get you to the number 1 spot. That's all a bunch of horse hooey. It's all about the ROI for your clients. If you concentrate on that, they'll never leave you. So step number 4 is a list. If you're going to build a marketing firm, of course, after you've picked your niche, after you've designed your services package, now you've got to have people to sell to. A list is the single most valuable asset a company has. It represents a company's ability to generate income without having to go through lead generation. You, of course, need to always be building your list and cultivating it to keep your company growing. This is not just a spreadsheet of emails. They said that they simply isn't good. No, that's not English. You can tell. They are simply not good enough to succeed anymore. A list should include the following: the company name, its address, a point of contact, their position in the company, their phone number, email, company size, annual sales, their industry, the value of a new customer to them. The value of a new customer is pretty easy to determine in most industries. And if you're going into a national niche where you're going to serve, say, jewelers, you need to find out with your very first customer what that value proposition is, and then use that in your marketing to other clients. The more you know about a client before you try to sell them, the easier they are to sell. I almost wanted to delete the why slide for this section. You need a list. It's the lifeblood of a marketing company. I don't think I need to give you a why. So how do we develop lists at Infusion? Well, we first start by buying them when we go into a new market. We start by looking at a radius of 5 miles from one of our office locations. We look to see how many businesses meet a predetermined set of SIC codes. SIC codes are standard industrial classification codes. Basically, it's the government's way of describing your industry. Then we eliminate all companies with gross sales below $500,000 because we need people that can afford a $1,297 per month package. So our office that we just opened up in Ohio last month, we did a demographic analysis of the entire state. We looked to find the highest concentration of companies that met the SIC codes that we've predetermined are potential clients and that have gross annual sales above $500,000. Now, the highest concentration was near Columbus in an area called Polaris. I didn't really want to move to Columbus. I'm originally from Cleveland. So right outside the Akron-Canton area is a neighborhood called Fairlawn. It's one of the wealthiest areas in Ohio, and there were 2,400 businesses that met this criteria. If I'm looking for a 1% closure rate, I'm going to have 24 clients. I'm going to have about a $34,000 a month business just in one market. You need to do the same thing. If you're going to start a local marketing company, you need to do it strategically. You need to know what's available in your list or in your market. So where do we buy our lists? The funny thing is, I did not tell Sabrina that I was going to be putting her email address up here. I've worked with her for 13 years. So to me, this is actually going to be a little funny. But if you do email her to buy a list, please make sure to put in the title, Roger Bryan gave me your email. So when she comes into the office tomorrow morning and has 50 or 100 emails from different people, hopefully she'll say thank you. The whole point of this presentation is not to tell you how to do it. It's to show you how to do it and then actually give you the tools to go do it. No one else is willing to do that, and I don't know why not. So here's some ways of finding leads, because we're going to do a lot of different lead generation. This is just a quick short list. And this is actually part of a presentation I did in Chicago yesterday, and I tweaked it a little bit to fit our needs. Referral marketing. Getting people to refer you business. This was the lifeblood of my nonprofit fundraising company. We would make one Goodwill chapter happy, and we would make them so happy that they would yell from the rooftops to everyone else that they needed to do business with us. And I built a huge business doing that. Your email signature. Put an offer in your email signature. They can simply say, hey, if you're looking to grow your business, we've got marketing services to fit every budget. Give us a call. Direct mail. We love direct mail, and I'm going to talk a lot more about that. Bird dogs. I know this is a real estate term, but I'm finding as I've gone out and sought to hire sales reps, that most of them aren't really the types of sales reps that will fit into a corporate environment, work from our office, beat the phones, do all that kind of stuff. They're more people that can be commission-based, out on the streets, talking to people. And I don't really want to call them sales reps. They are more bird dogs. They're going out there trying to generate leads, trying to put business together and bring it into us. Networking. There's a whole section on connecting that we're going to talk about in a little bit. Reward marketing. You guys came to this webinar because I made you an offer. I said, here, I'm going to give you a PDF of our 10 steps to starting a six-figure marketing firm. That was reward marketing. Some other ones, Craigslist. It's a great place to throw offers out there. Now, you don't get a lot of leads, but every once in a while you do get a phone call. And more often than not on Craigslist is where we're finding people that come to us and say they can bring us businesses. I'm absolutely fine with that. Trade shows, it is a moneymaker. We would set up at the annual Goodwill conference and we would just clean up there. Being there in front of your audience or your potential customers when your competition is not willing to do that is a game changer. Conventions and events, forums. If you're not taking part in online forums, you're missing an opportunity. Seminars, conventions, events, trade shows, seminars, they all kind of fall into the same thing. Um, Conventions, we're getting ready to do a booth at the one of the largest home improvement shows. Now, why are we doing that? Who comes to home improvement? Well, 80% of the people that are going to come there are going to be individuals looking to buy and sell or buy stuff. But what's the other 20%? They're contractors, they're plumbers, they're people that do or bathtub reglazing and all that stuff. They're remodelers, they're guys that build decks, garages, roofing, driveways, cement, concrete, all that kind of stuff. They all come there. Setting up a booth there, $800, gold mine. I'm telling you. Google AdWords. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in the marketing side of things. A little bit more advanced, you've got to have an expert blog. If you're going to be the marketing expert in your area, if you're going geo-target or the marketing expert in your industry, you must have an expert blog. My blog, rcbryan.com, had tons of great information about marketing in the nonprofit niche as I was building that business. It was a cornerstone to making me one of the top consultants, actually the number one consultant on the internet. I had 18,000 monthly subscribers coming to my blog, consuming information about marketing. Even though it was specific to the nonprofit niche, people were eating it up. Facebook ads, I've got some friends that are just absolutely killing it with Facebook. We've practiced a little bit with it, and hey, I'm not against hiring the people out there that are the best in the world at it, and that's just exactly what we're going to do. This is a funny one. I was talking to someone a few weeks ago. Pizza boxes. It is actually a way to generate leads for your business. Now, in real estate, it is an absolute gold mine. In marketing, we're actually going to run some experiments with this. We're looking at pizzas that are delivered during the day to businesses. It's not a lot of them. And usually the pizza shops will let you advertise on them if you just buy the boxes for them. It's ridiculously cheap. And of course, we use a tracking phone number and give them a little bit of commission. Press releases, you know what? I've done courses on press releases. We sell press release services. My friend has the largest press release training program in the country. Search engine optimization. Again, we're going to touch on that in marketing. Twitter marketing. I have for the longest time said how much I hate Twitter. It is really one of those things you can't ignore. It's becoming more and more prominent. And Bing marketing. After stepping out of Bing marketing for the last 2 years, we are coming back in it with a vengeance. And our cost per conversion is typically 20 to 30% less than what we're paying on Google AdWords. Step number 5, communication. Now, remember, I said that I wasn't going to type questions, and I've seen a couple questions come in. If you have questions about any of these things, I'm happy to answer them. I've never done this presentation before, and I want to make sure that you're getting all the information that you need so that you can leave this webinar with the confidence that you can go out and start a 6-figure marketing company. Because if you can't, then I have failed in my presentation. So communication. Another often overlooked step for both marketing firms and their clients, well, basically most businesses. If you really want to differentiate yourself from your competition, have a communication plan. Now, I'm actually going to give you a sample now. Of course, when we did our research about where to put our office, where we were going to buy leads, we did a competition analysis. We found that there were 12 marketing firms serving our area. Now, some of them were 50 miles away. So what we did is we created a fake website. We put out an RFP to each of the 12, asking them to make a proposal to us for marketing services. If I asked you to guess how many of the 12 ever responded to us. Now, at a minimum, we contacted each firm 5 times. I just got a guess of 2. You're close. 3 of them responded to us. The other 9 marketing firms that are actually spending money advertising online never responded to us after 5 tries between phone calls and emails. 5 times we tried to get in touch with them for a proposal and couldn't get it. Why? They didn't have a communication plan. A communication plan is a predetermined manner in which clients will contact you and how you will in turn communicate with them. It sounds simple, but once I outline how this works, you'll be amazed at how often a single misstep can destroy an entire sales funnel. The simplest reason is that your competition isn't doing it. It can be your competitive advantage. And it's stupid simple. Simply being there when your customers call can be a game changer. And I will tell you, when you start doing marketing for local companies, you will find that the number one reason they're unhappy with your service is because they don't answer your phones. That's why call tracking is vital. I don't know how many clients have called me and said that they wanted to cancel, and I didn't used to tell people that I had call tracking installed. It used to be that I would hold that in reserve for when they said there was a problem to prove them wrong. Never make a client wrong. So now we tell them from the get-go. I've had clients that have come to me and said they haven't gotten a single phone call, and I can pull up the report and they had 32 in the last month, and they've answered 3 of them. Here are the elements of a properly structured communication plan. Who will answer the phone? Who will respond to email leads? Who will gather information from new leads? Who will funnel/sell the new leads? What will happen after normal working hours? Will you use voicemail? What phone tracking system will you use? Will you use a call center? If your answer to each is, or who, not will, if your answer to each of these is you, then you failed and you're never going to grow your business. You've really got to look at all of these things. They're so simple. Everyone typically goes and starts their business and thinks that these are all predetermined, that they don't need to put any time or attention into it. The reality is that no one addresses this, and then they miss calls. Every missed call is a missed opportunity to do business. 50% of people will not leave voicemail when calling a business. So for every missed phone call that leaves you a voicemail, you missed another phone call that didn't leave you a voicemail. It is the death of a business when you don't answer your phones. Step number 6 is sales. So we're at that halfway point. And again, anybody has any questions, feel free to send them over. I am working them in. I think a few of you have seen you've asked questions and I've just kind of ad-libbed it without directly addressing them. I'm going to keep trying to do that. No money exchanges hands until something is sold. So we've got to be selling. We always bring clients into our sales funnel by offering them a free service to prove our capability. Delivering results in advance of asking for payment makes selling a much easier proposition. We stick to the services that we designed early in our process. We work out lists in an organized manner, we work out our list in an organized manner, recording every step that we do. Here's our sales funnel. We do an interview. In fact, I think there's many of you on here that have done this. We do an interview. We offer you a 90-day trial, and then we go into a 12-month agreement. Let me outline this. Our interview is the entry point to our sales funnel. Now, there's been some people who told me I shouldn't share this because this is the value proposition that we bring to clients that differentiates us from our competition. This is our value proposition. We do a 30-minute Google Hangout with each client where we talk about their business. The questions are designed specifically for future video marketing. We then post the interview to our radio show, online TV show, and podcast channel. We guarantee the potential client 1,000 interactions with their interview. If we deliver, they agree to give us a 90-day test run in our marketing program. Once we've proven our services to the client with our interview process, we move to a paid trial. Here we measure the value of potential customers and the number of calls it typically takes to get a new customer. We use that to create an ROI formula. And remember, I talked about that earlier. We have to know the ROI of our customers in order to know what we need to deliver. We then take their $1,297 per month and spend it generating enough calls to exceed the predetermined ROI formula. Basically, we give them ROI. And if we do that for 90 days, then we move to a 12-month agreement. It's not rocket science. Well, our logo's a rocket, so maybe it is. But all you have to do is deliver value. And all you need to do that is spend the money wisely. We continue to deliver ROI month after month. By using strategic SEO campaigns, we can slowly move them from a heavy front-end paid advertising campaign to a more long-term sustainable organic campaign. As more time passes, their ROI continues to grow, and ours does the same. It does cost us more upfront to do it this way, but by putting the clients first, ensuring their ROI above all other things, we can deliver superior services. Now, this wasn't really originally going to be in here, but if we're going to talk sales, we've got to talk funnel. Funnel is once you've talked to a customer about potentially providing services for them, you need to know what the steps are going to be in order to keep in contact with them until you close them in a paying contract. So here are the 12 steps of our funnel. This works in marketing. It works in real estate. It works in nonprofit marketing. It just works. You need to have a funnel so that you can keep track of what's going on in your business and you can keep pushing people forward. The funnel should be broken into 4 sections, and I am going to break each one of these down into their individual pieces. There's the initial, the follow-up, the follow-through, and the auto sequence. So let me break these down for you. These steps should be taking place on day number 1. This is the initial. The day number 1 of you getting a new lead. The phone call to set the appointment. The appointment being, for us, we call it an ROI phone call. It's where we design the questions for their interview. We explain to them how the interview works, how our services work. We find out what their products and services are, what their ROI measurement is, and we design the questions that we're going to ask them in the interview, and then we schedule the interview. Now, if we call them, talk to them, but don't get through all that, then our funnel is to get them back to that point. Wherever you've left off to them, this funnel works to get them back here. Now, no matter what, when we get off the phone with that customer, we are sending them a direct mail thank you package. Notice I said direct mail. Your competition is not doing that. Again, do this in real estate. It's going to work. I see a lot of real estate people on here. Do it in marketing. It's going to work. And then also email them a thank you. Phone call, direct mail, email. You might see that pattern repeated a few times. Your direct mail thank you package. How do you give value in abundance and solidify a relationship with a stranger? Give them something of value with no reason other than doing so. We really think that our interview process is that. On average, we get over 10,000 interactions with our interviews. The radio broadcasts that we've been doing have been just crazy with the amount of people that listen to them. Our videos. Now, we work those a little bit because we do video marketing, but we get tons of interactions with those with our paying customers. And with the podcast, we're still kind of new at it, but our podcast channel is actually slowly starting to pick up. Now, funnel follow-up. On day number 7, if you've not heard back on your offer, make your follow-up call, send your follow-up yellow paper reminder with proposal, send your follow-up email. It was funny. The event that I was at in Chicago yesterday, I want to thank John and Janelle for having me out there. I actually met 2 different people there who do yellow paper mailers, and this actually made me laugh, but they put the yellow paper inside a white envelope. And when I explained to them that the whole point of a yellow paper is that a yellow paper is more likely to be opened and that it needs to be out of the envelope in order for that to happen, it just blew their minds. They were saying that their yellow paper mailers converted better than anything else. I told them, wait till you take them out of the envelope. Now, when you're at this point of your funnel, remember, you could be in multiple different sections here. You could be still trying to get them to commit to the interview. They could have already done the interview and you're trying to get them to commit to the trial. There's a lot of different things that can be going on, but you're still at day number 7, you're taking action. I tell people, you can do this faster, but you cannot do it slower. On day 14, if you've not heard back from your offer, it's time to sell scarcity. Make your follow-up call telling the owner your offer will expire at the end of the week. And you could even say prices are going up or we're not going to be able to offer the free entry offer. Send them that same message from direct mail. Send them that same message in an email. The important part is that every one of these steps, initial, follow-up, and follow-through, that you have congruence on all marketing messages in that section. Because if they see the same message 3 times, they are more likely to react to it. It's scientifically and statistically proven that it takes 3 touch points in order to get someone's attention to take an action. If you really listen to radio commercials, the call to action is typically said 3 times. If you listen to telephone commercials, TV commercials, the brand, the product, the offer, or the phone number, or some type of call to action in a good commercial is said 3 times. Scarcity package. This is a last-ditch effort to close the deal. You can offer a quick close bonus. You again enclose an offer sheet outlining the deal and post an expiration date to it. We've experimented. It's $2,500 to get started with us for the first month. We'll sometimes offer a $250 off coupon, a $500 off coupon. we'll tell them that, hey, we're getting really busy, or we found someone else in their market that is looking to use our services, and we really only like to use one person per market to create a little bit of scarcity and get them to interact with us. Auto sequence. If between initial, follow up, and follow through, you have not closed them, you can't keep beating a dead horse. Well, you can, but there's really no point to doing it. So after 21 to 30 days, if you've not closed the deal on the property, here's one slide that I forgot to change. A lot of this is interchangeable with real estate. You have to feel the offer has gone cold and you want to move the seller to an auto sequence. So from a marketing perspective, if you've been beating someone for 21 days, you've touched them 9 times. Make sure that it's appropriate. You've contacted them 9 times in 21 days. And you haven't closed them or moved them through your funnel at all, you know what? It's probably becoming a cold lead. If they've not given you a reason to think that you have a chance to close them, move them into an auto sequence. Let them get a monthly newsletter from you outlining market conditions with a solid call to action if they are ready to talk again. Put them on a bi-weekly or monthly postcard style direct mail campaign to keep your brand warm just in case they need to move quick. Actually, yes, here's a good one. Auto sequence equals nurture campaign. You're not going to just stop contacting them. Thank you, Bill. You're going to try to put them into a funnel where you're continually in front of them. So if later they decide that they want to get involved with what you're doing, you'll still be there in front of them. There's one step that is often missed or not done in funneling that causes the entire system to break down. That is, no one designs their entire funnel in advance of generating leads. This is not a do-it-as-you-go process. You need to create the entire funnel now. It takes a day or two and have it ready to go for each and every lead you bring in. You need to test after every 10 leads to make sure that you're improving your copy and your messaging. Now, I say 10 leads, it could be 50, it could be 100, but you want to be cognizant of the fact of which parts of your marketing funnel are getting you better responses. And then you want to take the messaging on that and try to craft it over into the ones that aren't getting good ones. You want to constantly be improving each of the individual elements. Step number 7 is the marketing. Now, in the previous step, we've already bought a list. So why do we need marketing? Let's talk about this a little bit. If you really think about it, if you're a marketing firm, you better be doing your own marketing. I know that sounds simple, but you'd be amazed at how many struggling marketers I've met that don't market their own firms. I don't really even know what to say to that. The reality is that the marketing you're going to sell to your clients is what you need to be doing on your own business. Why? Because you need to be successful in your own marketing in order to translate that into success for your clients. Marketing creates the sustainability of your company. It creates the ongoing lead generation that allows you to grow. It creates the brand awareness needed to become a dominant player in your niche. I used to have a section in my presentation about branding. Branding is great. I think people focus too much on branding and they miss marketing and sales. Yes, branding can help with those, but you can't skip over marketing and sales and go straight into branding because you miss the lifeblood of your business. You remember that services model that we developed a few steps ago? Who do you think your first client should be for those services? If you guessed your friend Bob, then you really aren't thinking this through. If you're going to be successful at selling marketing services, you need to first find success in marketing your own firm. There is nothing better than good old social proof. If you can show that you're generating leads for your business, if you can show how when you buy leads and you funnel them that you're closing them, it's going to be much easier to sell other people on that exact same service. Step number 8 is connecting. Now, this could be called networking, but I'm going to show you here in a second why it's not. To be successful, you have to be able to relate to people. They have to be satisfied with your personality to be able to do business with you and to build a relationship with mutual trust. George Ross. I absolutely love the guy. He's got some friends that I might question his judgment, but other than that, I think he's a great guy. Connecting can be called networking if you'd like, but even that doesn't cover the true essence of what connecting means. I've met a ton of people who are great at networking, but many of those people just don't connect. You know those people when you meet them. They go from person to person to person, getting business card, passing out business card, doing the 30-second pitch, and then moving on. They don't really connect. And I'll be honest, I can see this in myself earlier this year. I had become a networking machine and I had forgot to connect. In the nonprofit world, people used to compliment me on how well I connected to everyone and how I would spend an entire event talking to one marketing person, helping them with their business, knowing that one solid connected relationship was better than meeting 50 people that you never actually connected to. Connecting is the art of listening and adding value to those that you meet. In turn, building relationships where people come asking to do business with you. If you really want to get out of the art of having to sell, then connect with people, help them, talk to them. Life will become a lot easier for you. If you're not connecting, you're not selling. That's the bottom line. People don't buy from people that feel cold, people that they don't like, people that they don't trust. This is where many marketers fail. They try to sit behind their computer, sending email after email in hopes of getting business. You need to be out in the community, building a reputation as the go-to person for marketing. You need to be connecting. Here are some great places to network. You need to go to at least 5 meetup.com events a month. When I first moved back to Ohio last April, I went to 5 a week, sometimes 2 a night. I wanted to get the pulse of the community. I wanted to see what's out there. Now, there were only about 40 active meetups that were continuously doing meetings, but I would still go to them. I don't care if they were wine clubs. I don't care if they were happy hour clubs, hiking clubs, biking clubs, pet clubs. Well, I didn't go to pet clubs. I don't have any pets. Well, I do have a cat. My fiance would kill me if she heard me say that. You need to join at least 2 chambers of commerce. Now, there's a little bit of a stumbling block here because I don't know that a lot of business gets closed at chambers of commerce anymore, but there's great relationships to be built there. There's great connections to be made. There's great introductions to come. You should also join BNI. I went to a BNI meeting 2 days ago, and I had to get up and speak and do my referral thing. And because I was leaving for a flight to Chicago, they made me go first, which was fun because I didn't really have an idea what to say. And then I sat back down, and there were 43 other people in the room. And as every single one of them stood up and did their 2-minute pitch, I was like, potential client, potential client, potential client. Every single person in the room was a potential client. I was like, holy, you know what? You should also offer to speak at local community events. You'd be amazed. People want to learn about this stuff. The internet marketing niche is maybe now going on about 20 years old. In the realm of business, the realm of marketing, advertising, it's still in its infancy. People are so good or so in, sorry, I was reading a question. BNI is the world's largest networking organization. I don't know. Let's see here. I've actually got some stuff here. I don't know what BNI stands for. Yeah, it doesn't even say. It might not even be an acronym. It might just be some letters put together. Just Google BNI and you're going to find Business Network International. There we go. Thank you. You should offer to speak at local community events. People love this stuff. And don't underestimate LinkedIn groups. You can really connect with LinkedIn groups. You can find sales reps, bird dogs, referrals, clients. Step number 9 is the team. I save this one for the end because this is where it actually belongs. I have met so many marketers who think that they have to build the team before they do anything else. Notice that we got our leads. We went out and started marketing. We went out and started selling. We funneled people. We've done everything, and we haven't even mentioned a team yet. Watch this section, and you'll realize why. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. Henry Ford. I love the guy. Although he did have a strange infatuation with Edison. And if you ever go to the Henry Ford Museum and you find out that he captured Edison's last breath in a bottle and it's on a shelf there, oh, it's kind of creepy. I've yet to meet the person that has built a successful and sustainable marketing firm doing everything themselves. Your team is the single most vital element to making your business go. Well, that could have been go or grow. A team is not an easy thing to build, but if you follow these steps I'm going to outline, it will become easier. Now remember, we're at step 9 of building a 6-figure marketing business. They go in order for a reason. You can reach 6 figures in marketing sales with a very small minimal team. But we're creating a 6-figure marketing business in order to create momentum, not so that you can stop. You simply won't succeed without a team. I won't lie, it's hard to build a good one. It takes time. The sooner you start, the better off you'll be. You need a plan on what people you're going to bring on, how you're going to manage them, and what your expectations are for them. A good team will pay for themselves 10 times over again. I have personally, in the near recent future, as I'm starting to get rid of my outsourcers and start to bring everything back in house, I sit down with people and I realize that I've got to pay them 3 times more to do the same job that an outsourcer is doing. But I know that I am going to get double the level of productivity, 10 times the level of communication. And when that all balances out, yes, I might have to pay them 3 times as much, but they're going to make me 10 times as much. I know because I've done it before. Here are the key positions in a successful marketing team. A founder, which is typically every single one of us that's on this call. The decision maker, the project manager, the person responsible for implementation. A lot of times the founder is the project manager when we first get started. Sales rep, a company without a sales department is not a company. Whether you're going to hire bird dogs, you can find commission only people. They're not that great. You can find somebody to pay them a small base plus commission. They get a little bit better. High powered sales reps are expensive, but they're worth every penny. You need a developer, the person who does the needed website work. This can be a $5 an hour person on Odesk, Elance, anything like that. I always recommend to hire 3, give them all some time. Today was a great example. I was trying to do a VSL for another project that I'm working on that I needed to launch some emails out for. And I loaded everything on the page, click save, and somehow the footer ended up above the title. And I, for the life of me, had no idea what to do. I have 3 developers in 3 different countries. Instantly, a message went out to all of them, and one of them was able to get back to me and fix the problem. If I only had one person that I could go to, and I couldn't get a hold of that person, I would have been screwed. You got to have multiple people that you can go to, and you can have them on call. I have all 3 of them working for me full time, but you can have them on call and just pay them a couple dollars an hour to be around. Content creator. In today's world, you must be able to develop quality content. You can't do successful marketing without it. An administrative clerk, the person doing the legwork. You can typically hire them for between $3 and $5 an hour on Odesk still, or between 5 and 8 for a good one. And as long as you have system sets and procedures, which notice isn't part of a six-figure marketing firm, it is part of a 7-figure having systems and procedures, it's only going to make things easier. I have broken this down into the easiest possible system for you to get to 6 figures as quick as possible. Now, many of these positions can be outsourced either in part or completely. I recommend that if you're just getting started that you use a major implementation firm so you can concentrate on growing your company. Here are a few. What is a major implementation firm? Well, a company like Local Oxygen that my friend Chris runs, if you go to him and you bring him 10 clients, he will give you a project manager that will communicate directly with all of your clients, managing all of their marketing and reporting. Makes life pretty easy. Endless Rise, so-so. Sometimes they have good results, sometimes they don't. The more clients you have, the better they serve you. Your Local Edge is another one of my another friend of mine's company, and she's got some great services on there. Don't let yourself get bogged down with the tactical implementation of services when you need to be concentrating on sales. Remember, we're at step number 9. We've got to sell them first. You've got to be concentrating on selling, not implementing. Use one of these firms to implement, and life will be a lot easier for you. Step 10 is growth. We've got everything else in place. Things are working. We need to grow. A company without a growth plan is a company that is already starting to die. This is true of all companies and not just marketing firms. You must set growth goals so you know where you're going. The goals need to come in stages and need to be attainable. That's important. The first goal you need to set is your out of the gate goal. I'm going to set that for you right now. If you're listening to this webinar, that means that you want to build a 6-figure marketing firm. Your goal has now been set. If you want to write this down on your whiteboard, your notepad, write it on your hand so that you can look at it when you go home tonight. Your first goal is to get 10 paying clients in 90 days. That's your first goal out of the gate, and it is very attainable. Having a goal to work towards allows you to plan. Having a plan is key to accomplishing anything. It also gives you a benchmark to analyze if things don't work. If things don't work, that doesn't mean you stop. That just means that you retool and try again. There is no failure in our world. There is only getting ready to succeed. I know that sounds like a bunch of BS, but what I want you to do is I want you to at least go out and try. I want you to say 10 clients in 90 days. I want you to write your funnel. I want you to get your list. I want you to put together your products. I want you to map this all out and then go for it. If you don't reach it, Look at where you stumbled and try again. If we want to close 10 clients, we are going to need a hot list of about 50 to 100 clients. When I say a hot list, I typically mean if you were to sit down with a piece of paper and write down every business owner you know, or every person that you know someone knows, that would be your hot list. Those are the easiest ones to close. We're also going to want to buy a cold list of about 1,000 leads. This statistically will give us what we need to reach a 1% closure rate. It's amazing how much money you can make with a 1% success rate. I promise. So in summary, this is everything I've learned over the last 13 years of doing online marketing. Well, at least the stuff that works. There are so many things that I've tried that didn't work that it's important to say that these are the things that do. It's always better to learn from someone else's mistakes than to make your own. Hopefully you've developed a blueprint that will help you build your six-figure marketing firm. I've got one more thing before we go. If you're absolutely serious about building a six-figure marketing firm and would like to partner with one of the top business builders in the industry, then I want you to check out this link. I'm going to tell you in advance, this isn't a coaching program. I'm looking for real partners, people looking to start real businesses to put everything that they have into growing it. So I put up this page. It'll give you an opportunity to go over, and I'll talk about exactly what I'm looking for. Now, this page will come back up. Now we're open for Q&A, but let's get this link back up there. So if you have any questions, now is the time to ask. Or if you want to go over and take a look at that, there's a 6-minute video there. It outlines what I'm talking about. And if it's right for you, somebody just asked me if I can put that in the box so you can click it. Hopefully that just sent everyone. Will this present be available for review? Yes, it's going to take a couple days. We're doing a WSO and another. We have 3 product launches going at the same time. I figured if I was going to hit the ground running, I might as well go full speed. So we've got another YouTube domination package coming out. We've got our social branding automated package coming out. And then we're selling our local services, of course. So we're pretty swamped here, but I'm going to render this tonight. And when I come in tomorrow morning, if it's good to go and the recording went well, then I will upload it back to the landing page that you registered at. Does anybody have any questions about this system, this formula? I do appreciate everyone taking their time out of their busy schedules. I typically don't do nighttime webinars. I'm more of a 4 p.m. type of guy so that I can be out of the office at 5 when it ever possible. You figure when I travel so much, I just need the opportunity to do that. Clinton, you asked for the link to access all your slides and data. You know what? I'm going to give you my email address. That is no longer available. Our training now is only available to clients. We had to do that, but if you want to send me an email or call me, so everyone that's on this call, I am about to send you my cell phone number. That is my real legitimate cell phone number. Please don't call me tonight. I'm exhausted. Yeah, I love it. I've got a couple people out here that are saying, you know what, I maybe wasn't looking to start a marketing firm, but this is some great information. And I will send out the energy is coffee and Mountain Dew induced. I had not had a Mountain Dew since I was probably a teenager, but I needed one today. And it works. Thank you, everyone. I greatly appreciate it. We will get this link back out to everyone. Check out Partner with Roger. And if you have any questions, give me a call. You've got my email. You've got my cell phone number. I will talk to you all again soon. Thank you.